Hey y'all, what's up? It's Victoria from Super Geeked. I'm back here with some reseller content for you. If you're new to my channel, hi, welcome. I am a full-time reseller, and today I'm gonna have a what sold, a ship with me, a chatty work with me, all the things. We're gonna talk about source-free September and how that's going for me. I'm gonna share with you some recent sold items that we're actually gonna be packaging together. And on top of that, I'm gonna talk about why I'm not interested in getting on WhatNot and some other stuff like that. So stick around if that sounds interesting, and let's get to shipping. So these are the items that we are going to be packaging up together. You'll get to see how I package, and I'll talk about the sales and tell you about how much they sold for and what platforms they sold on. So let's get to it. All right, y'all, so we're gonna start with some eBay sales. We're gonna do some shoes first. So I have my priority mail shoe boxes. The first sale is some rock and candy boots. I'm not sure where they're sold, if they're at Walmart or at JCPenney's or someplace like that. Sorry for the tape sounds. So, let's see. The rock and candy boots. They're already in a plastic bag because I do try to bag most of my items. I got these boots in a mystery box. Can't remember if I got them from ThredUp or America's Thrift Supply, but they came in a shoe box. So they're not a brand I would normally source, but I'm happy with the sale. They sold for $25 plus shipping. So not bad, because I'm sure my cost of goods were probably $3 or so. And I'm just using some eBay paper. And y'all, I am one of those people that does fancy packaging, but I wouldn't say it's too fancy, but it's just something I like to do. I like packaging, so I do have little business cards that I add that have all of my contact information. So slap that on there. We're gonna put them in the shoebox and tape it up. So let's talk about how Source-Free September is doing, and I'll start packaging this next sale from eBay. It's a BCBG Max Azria dress. And I don't pick up all BCBG, but y'all, BCBG does really well. So this dress sold for $50. So that's a great sale. I mentioned in my Source-Free September video that I was going to not be sourcing outside my home. I was going to do some spring cleaning or some summer cleaning, I guess. And I was going to source items to either donate or to resell. And so I've been doing that this month, and you'll see another video this week where I'm going through my kitchen and found some really cool items to resell. So that's been going great. And then also I mentioned in my Source-Free September video that I was going to be utilizing Vendoo on the days that I couldn't list, because I am a busy mom. And I'm going to talk about my business model in a minute and some comment that I got one time about that, so stay tuned for that. So this video today is sponsored by Vendoo because I am totally depending on them on the days that I can't list. I'm so focused on my house right now, and it's the beginning of school, and my kids have their largest fundraiser of the year at their elementary school, and I'm homeroom mom. So I'm in charge of the haunted house. So I am going to be going to some Goodwills to try to find stuff for our Ghostbusters themed haunted house. That should be fun. But I wanted to mention Vendoo because I am using them this month for Source-Free September to do some relisting. So the days that I can't list, I am depending on Vendoo. And because of that, because I'm consistently either listing new items that I found in my house, items from my death pile, or I don't have time to list, I'm relisting, I'm making consistent sales again, which is awesome because you guys who've been here for a while knew that my sales slowed down once Poshmark made the algorithm changes. I got really thrown off. And then also eBay, I got a suspension that has taken time to build my eBay momentum back up. I don't know if they throttled my eBay account, but it certainly has been an uphill battle to try to get sales back going on eBay. So I'm thankful. So that's 2 sales from eBay, the BCBG dress for $50 and the Rock Candy boots. So yeah, I would not be able to maintain the sales that you're seeing right now in Me Package if it wasn't for Vendoo. Y'all, if you have not gotten a cross-listing software, I'm just telling you, it will change your life. Try for the free amount of time that you get to test it out, and you can use my discount code. You'll get 25% off using Super Geeked. Try it and see, does it make a difference for your business? Because I'm telling you guys, I didn't know what I was missing out on. I held out for so long getting a cross-listing software because I'm the type of person who likes to save money. And I was like, I'm not going to pay for something I could do, but the time it has saved me has been monumental. So when I sell an item, like some of these items you're seeing, I literally go on there, click on the, search for the item, click on it and delist it. And it's that easy, and I can delist all the platforms. There's no uh-ohs like, whoops, I forgot to take that item off of that platform and uh-oh, it's sold again, but I shipped it out a month ago. And then with the relisting, it has totally helped me for Source Free September. So let's get into Poshmark sales. All right, so the first item we're going to talk about is an item that I purchased on WhatNot. This is actually an Indiana Jones hat, and we're going to put it in a box. And y'all, I have a funny box to put it in. This is from BarkBox that I was getting doggy treats in for a while. It says, "Let's sniff butts." Just thought the person who got this hat would think it was funny. So anyway, I purchased this hat on WhatNot. I purchased it from my friend Bob Buys, and I'll link her channel below. She also has a YouTube channel if you don't know who she is. But let's talk about WhatNot. I've been asked a lot, why are you not on WhatNot? Or are you going to get on WhatNot? And the answer is not right now, and I don't know if ever. And I'm just not really interested. But I have tried the app, not from the selling standpoint. But I'm an observer. I'm not the type of person who wants to just jump in head first most of the time. I want to stake things out like mystery boxes. I want to watch a bunch of unboxings first before I take the leap. And I'm not a big gambler. I don't want to gamble my money or my inventory. So I purchased this from Bob, and let's talk reality. First of all, I did not realize, because I was new on the app, that, and hers might have been one of the first sales I went to. I did not realize that if you do a pre-bid on something, it's not like eBay. So on eBay, I find something I want, I'll put, okay, my maximum bid's gonna be, $10. Well, every time someone bids on that item on eBay, it'll tell them you've been outbid because my highest bid was $10 until they reach that threshold, and then they, will go over and I'll have to go back and bid again. So I pre-bid on this item because I knew that I could resell it. I knew Halloween was going to be coming up, and I think she had it probably up for $3 or whatever. So I put a max bid of $10, not realizing that if you do a pre-bid on an item on WhatNot, it's not going to start at, if her start price is $3, it's not going to start at $3. And then every time somebody bids, you outbid them. Oh no, it starts at $10. So I paid more for this item than I had really wanted to pay for it. I was really hoping I was going to get it for a little cheaper, but that didn't happen. So I ended up paying about $15 with shipping for this hat. So a lot of times you hear people say, oh, I bought this item for $2 or I sourced this item for $3 on WhatNot. Yeah, but how much are you paying for shipping? Because I ordered some other items from her on this same sale, and while the shipping was cheaper because it does go down and it goes by weight, it still was not as cheap as me sourcing items from a thrift store. So, and I've done that. I've purchased from a couple of sales. In my last haul video I showed you a dress that I picked up on WhatNot, and it was from a girl who's not a reseller. She was selling, she likes fashion, and she was selling clothing from her own closet. And she had a ModCloth dress from one of the brands. They carry a dress that I have sold over and over again. Well, I had a $10 credit. I won the bid for $10. That was her starting bid because she had paid probably full price for this dress and just never wore it. And it was new with tags. I knew I'd get at least 50, maybe closer to the $100 mark for this dress. Totally fine. And because I had a $10 credit, all I paid was for shipping on that dress, which was $5. So really I sourced that for $5. So that was good, but I had a $10 credit. So when I see people on there going, oh, I scored this for however much, I'm thinking, but yeah, but how much did you pay in shipping? Is that really as good as something you could have found in the thrift store? Is it really just about the adrenaline rush, about, ooh, I won this, and hyping items, you know, and there's that part. Then when I first saw WhatNot, and I kind of knew about WhatNot before because I have a lot of friends that are like in the comic book, Funko space. A lot of my friends in real life are like big nerds. My friend owns a comic book store, so I knew about WhatNot before. They really launched the women's clothing section that has had everybody kind of going crazy. The thing is with WhatNot, I like to think about WhatNot in terms of during the year I do some live in-person events. So there's a lot of prep that goes into that. I have to pull inventory, I tag it, which, you know, a lot of people will hang it on hangers and tag them with numbers so that they can keep their inventory in check. It's the same thing. I'll tag items. The only thing that's different is, you know, you're not setting up a tent, but you are setting up a space. You have to set up your laptop and your phone. There's a lot that goes into the prep work. So it's very similar to when I do a live in-person event. I've got to make sure I have certain things in order for the event to go well and for me to make money. And generally I will sell out of items. The thing is, I'm not selling items for $2 or $3. I'm selling them for prices that I would ask on the platforms I sell on online. The difference with WhatNot is a lot of people are going there looking for deals. A lot of the people who are shopping on WhatNot in the women's space are resellers, and I quite frankly don't have time to waste all day going in and out of people's shows. And that's an element to it. You know, you want to be on there, you want to be supporting other resellers. You want to build your audience, you get followers by being on the app, and I don't have the extra time to do that. I don't have time to sit on my phone all day and shop. And I'm going to talk about my business model in a minute, but one of the main focuses of my business model is to work less. So I want to maintain an income that will, you know, be to help my family, but at the same time, I want to have time available to devote to my family. So because of that, WhatNot at this point for me would be too much. I wanted to mention before we continue with the WhatNot talk that the hat did end up selling for $38, and then after deductions and a shipping discount, I did take home $28, but you're gonna have to take $15 out of that. So, you know, the profit's, you know, $10. So not too great. I mean, I'm happy I made a profit on it, and I was super happy to support my friend Bob. Most of the time, if you see me on WhatNot, it's because I'm there supporting my friends, because I do get on there, and I think it's a cool app. I think it's fun to interact with everybody, and so I'm definitely doing that. And this isn't to bash anybody who does WhatNot. Some people are killing it on WhatNot, but the majority of people are just not making the money they would make if they invested it on these other platforms, and that's WhatNot's new. You know, everybody's figuring it out. Even the people who are successful are still figuring it out. I think it's a cool idea, and I'm not discounting it for the future, but at this point it's just not going to work for me. Okay, so the next item that sold on Poshmark were these Zara velvet leggings, and they sold for $45. I've mentioned before, don't discount Zara, y'all, because some of these styles will do well. And when I sourced these, I looked up the comps on them and saw that this happened to be a Zara item that does really well. So $45 is a great sale. So one of the other reasons I'm not interested in doing WhatNot is, like I said, it doesn't fit into my business model. So I've been called on YouTube snobby. I'm probably the least snobbiest person, but I understand where they're coming from. So I used to do what sold videos that were like, hey, These items sold for me for $40 and above. And there's a lot of people who run their resale business where they sell bread and butter brands, and you know, they sell items for $20, you know, and the fast nickel's good for them. So, and that's awesome. I mean, I think it's great. We're all in a space. We can have our business however we want it. I don't think it makes me snobby because I try and source items, or I'm looking for items that are going to bring me more money. Here's the thing. I don't have as much time to list as most people. I have two boys, 7 and 8 years old, that they go to a private school. I'm active in the private school. Like I mentioned before, I'm homeroom helper in the 3rd grade class this year. I'm in charge of haunted house. So I want to have time when they need me. My goal in my business is to source items that are going to bring me that higher dollar. So I am a slow dime sort of seller, and I like it that way. I don't have a lot of time to list in bulk. That doesn't mean if you do that, there's anything wrong with that. I think that's awesome. You know, I totally love that we can do things however we want and there's space for all of us. But I want items like this Zara piece where I, you know, purchase it for $4 or $5. My average cost of goods is about $5. So I purchase these for $5. I sell them for $45. And I don't have to list as many items as somebody else might need to list 2 or maybe 3 items to get the same profit that I'm getting from that one item. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I don't have the extra time to be listing in bulk. So this is how I choose to run my business, and I really don't think that makes me snobby, but it also means that I wouldn't have extra time to devote to an app like WhatNot, to build a following, to be on there, to support other resellers in their sales, you know, and buy things from them and, you know, all that. I just don't. This was a FootJoy Pullover. My local liquidation company, I have a brick and mortar store here in Mississippi that does buyouts, and they did a thread-up buyout, and I got this. I picked it up because I've never sourced FootJoy. I don't think I've ever seen it in the thrift store here in South Mississippi, but they did have it from the thread-up buyout because obviously that stuff could have come from anywhere in the country. And so I thought, I'm going to try it and just see. And it sold for $25. It was okay, you know. Again, my average cost of goods is about $5. So that's an example of a lower priced item that I have that sells. I'm not that bougie that I'm like, oh, I would never sell that because it's only going to bring me, you know, $15. That's not true. I do experiment with brands sometimes and pick up brands I've never sourced before. I'm not really a men's seller, so not really a reason for me to be sourcing FootJoy normally because I'm not usually in the men's section. However, I do pick up men's if I run into it and find it amongst the other things I'm sourcing. And especially vintage. I like selling men's vintage, and men are great buyers. They usually don't nickel and dime you. They usually, my experience is they'll purchase outright your list price. So, but this goes to show you I don't just sell things for $40 and above. I do sell those bread and butter items, but the majority of my items I want to sell for a certain price point because that'll bring me the income I need with me devoting less time to reselling. I am a full-time reseller, but I do want to have that flexibility for my kiddos. Okay, we got some more shoes. We got some Jimmy Choo flats. Now, I probably sold these for less than I normally would, but still a good sale, and I was, you know, sending out offers. So I'm going to do a video soon about the other, you know, I always talk about Vindu, but I also use Poshmark VA. And even with Poshmark's new changes, I'm still using Poshmark VA. So I'm going to make a video soon about why I still use Poshmark VA, even with Poshmark adding new features to help sellers to get their items seen. And why I think it's still beneficial to have a service that I pay for every month, because it is very helpful. So I do automatically send out offers, and I sent out an additional offer this weekend to help me boys get some sales. And so these sold for $66. Again, I paid around $5 for them. So still a good sale, and the buyer got a deal at $66 for some Jimmy Choos. I'm going to put these in a shoebox too. Just because they're Jimmy Choos, I wouldn't normally put my more expensive items in a poly mailer, even though these could fit and probably would be fine shipping in them. I like my buyers to be happy, and so I'm going to do that. And look, if you don't use tissue paper and stickers and thank you cards or business cards like mine, that doesn't matter either. I mean, if you choose not to do that, as long as your item gets to the person on time and in good condition, I mean, you can do whatever you want. But this is just showing you what I like to do. I'm a wrapper. I like it. The other thing about WhatNot is that, you know, you have to invest the time to be successful on there, to build an audience, to have people come to your shows, to get notifications that you're live. I already have marketplaces that are bringing me income, the income that I want. And so for me, there's no reason to then drop all my platforms to go over to a new platform. And that's what a lot of resellers have done. Because WhatNot takes so much, not only of your time, but your energy, a lot of resellers who've made the transition to WhatNot and they're making good money right now have completely neglected their other platforms. And it's working for them now, but how long is that sustainable for? I mean, we don't know what's gonna happen to WhatNot. And at this point, for me, it's too much of a risk to jump ship when I have money coming in and income coming in from these other platforms. All right, this other dress, man, I don't know why this dress took so long to sell. So it did sell on Poshmark for $52, and it was this pretty Lulu dress, and it was new with tags. I thought it was beautiful. I think when the person gets this, they're gonna think, oh my gosh, it's so much prettier in person. It's a beautiful dress, but it did take a little bit to sell. And that's okay, I don't mind if it sits for it to sell for $52. So that's great sale price. Instead of using my regular thank you stickers, I do have these thank you stickers that say thank you retrospectives on Poshmark. So when I started, my Poshmark store name was Retrospectives. Well, it still is. So that's because I was selling primarily vintage and vintage inspired, which I still sort of do. I sell a lot more modern now too, but I have these stickers and I bought them. I'm going to use them up, and then I might change the name of my Poshmark store to Super Geeked because everything else is Super Geeked. But yeah, I don't know why this dress took so long to sell, but I'm glad it did. So $52 is a great sale, and I'm happy with that. My average sale price was at $54 before my eBay suspension and before the Poshmark algorithm changes. But we're back up to $52 average sale price, so that makes me really happy. Been working very hard at that. So this next top is from the brand COS, and it sold for $29. I got this in a ThredUp 100-pound bulk box. I got one of those boxes when they first launched. That would be the exception of me not taking a risk because I was one of the first people to get one of those, and I think it was beneficial because a lot of the bulk boxes after that were not as good as mine. I had a lot of Lululemon and some other, I had a Reformation piece. I had some good pieces in that. My girl Alicia over at Murrayed Life, if you don't know her, I'll link her channel below. She does have a YouTube channel. She is on WhatNot and on all the other platforms too, along with Instagram. But my girl came over to my house because she's local, and we unboxed that together. It was a pretty funny video. But I went back and looked at my profit on that box, and I made all my money back. So it was like $300. It's $250 now, but it was $300 at that time. I made all my money back, and I made about an $150 profit so far. And I do have some items like this one that haven't sold yet. So I think my original estimation was that I would make over $1,000 on that box. So really happy about the progress made. Now we're with the items that are taking a little longer to sell, but you know what? It's okay. This item sold for $29. It's awesome. All right, we got another pair of Jimmy Choos. So these were some that I got from a ThredUp DIY designer box. I have only gotten one ThredUp mystery box this year, surprisingly. Not planning on buying one anytime soon. I think that I've just gotten to the point in my reselling career where I've realized the most money that I make is sourcing on my own. I feel like I've developed that skill in the last 3 years. I guess it's been 3 years that I've been full-time reselling, and I feel like I'm good at it. I feel like I know what my customers want. I wouldn't say that I have a curated closet, but other people who look at my closet would probably think it's curated, but really I buy what I like. I buy what I think is trending, not trendy, but trending. I like a lot of classic silhouettes. I like vintage inspired items, and I like mid-century modern, so my hard goods are going in that direction. I used to buy any item that I thought could sell, and what would happen is I wouldn't list it. I'm sure this happens to a lot of you. I wouldn't be interested in listing it. I wouldn't be excited about listing it. And if I had a brick and mortar store, that's how I like to think about it, and not an online store, I would be purchasing items for my store that I would want to display, that would fit into my store, look like something that had come from my store. And so it's the same with my online store. I source items that I get excited about, whether it's really quirky vintage pieces. And, you know, there's been resellers who've been on YouTube who said, you know, it's a business, you shouldn't be sourcing with friends. You know, anybody who sources with their friends and tells you that it's good it's BS. That's just not true in my case. So I go sourcing with my girlfriends from time to time. You know, Alicia over at Married Life and I go to New Orleans and sometimes Mobile. We go on road trips together. We went to Jackson to the Bends. And the thing is, we don't sell the same things. Are there some brands and styles that cross over? Sure. And if I get my hands on it first, then I'm going to keep it for myself. But it's not competitive. I pull stuff a lot that she sells, whether it's athletic wear or menswear, and I'm just not interested in listing it because it's either not in my scope of menswear. Like, let's say if I found a designer piece of men's or a vintage piece that's really cool, that'll fit in with my store. But if I find a piece that's just like run-of-the-mill, like some brand, you know, some brand that we know will probably be $20 or $30, you know, I could list it. It ain't gonna get listed, so I just give it to her. And she does the same thing for me. She'll go through racks and she'll find stuff and she'll pull it for me and say, do you want this? And, you know, I'll say yes or no. And we kind of know each other's tastes. So one time when Bob Buys and Gorgeous, if you don't know her, I'll link her too, came to visit us, not this summer, but the summer before. We all went thrifting together in New Orleans. 4 resellers, same store. We all came out with lots of bags of stuff. I have a picture, I'll pop it up. And I do think I bought the most. I think I had 2 bags, but it was so much fun. It was great sourcing with my girlfriends. We sorted our carts together. You know, I might have picked up something that I thought I was going to sell, and then I thought, nah, I don't want to sell this. And then I'll hand it to one of my other girlfriends. So that's just how we roll. So you can source with your friends. And sometimes when I need motivation to resell, because, you know, you hit a point where it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. Yeah, I'll pick up the phone and say, Alicia, you want to go on a trip? I need to go get some inventory, and she'll go with me. Okay, so those Jimmy Choos sold for $80. I think probably when I got those, the average cost on that designer box was about $17. So great profit on those Jimmy Choos. And I'm so glad they finally sold because they've been sitting for like 2 years. And yeah, good riddance. All right, now we have some hunter boots. I was so excited to find these. They are in a beautiful teal color. I'm not going to wrap these in tissue. I'll just put a piece of tissue paper on them because they're so big. I'm so glad they sold on Poshmark because they are heavy. Hunter boots are heavy. But I was really happy to find these. I believe, yep, they sold for $50. So I do have a box that I checked that should fit them perfectly, an old Amazon box. I do try to recycle all my boxes. I have a big mini warehouse behind my house that once it gets cooler, we're going to do something similar that I've been doing in my house and filming me going through my house in my shed. So that's where all my inventory is. You'll get to see my inventory system. You'll get to see what a hot mess it is in there, but you will see my stack of boxes. I have so many. And eventually what we would like to do is insulate in there and move my office out there. It is so big. Like I said, it's a mini warehouse. There is a bathroom, a full bathroom with shower. Not that I want to stay out there, but right now it's just not enclosed enough and there's no air conditioning, and I do live in the deep south, so it's hot. So once it's cooler, we're going to go through it, start cleaning it out, and hopefully one day it'll be my office and warehouse. This is another sale. So this is by a designer. It's actually couture. It's by Stuart Parvin. I don't think a lot of people who are in the US know who Stuart Parvin is, and it was listed on eBay, which means that it did have an international audience, but no one bought it from the UK. Somebody on Poshmark bought this because Stuart Parvin is the official designer for the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth. And so with her passing this past week, I had a lot more interest on this listing for this dress. I got this from a reseller who was selling inventory, which again, I've never purchased from someone, but they were trying, this person purchases designer stuff. So I knew it was probably going to be a sure bet, and it was one of the best mystery boxes I've ever gotten. I've made so much money. And anyway, this dress sold for $100. So happy this is going to a new home. It is beautiful. It does not have size tags, but I estimate it's about an extra large, probably a size 14. It is raw silk, even though it doesn't have any tags, because again, it is couture. You can go to Stuart Parvin Studios in the UK, in the store, and they will measure you and make a dress for you. So happy for this sale. And I hope my buyer loves it because it is a really pretty dress. All right, and last sale is a Free People dress. I've had this dress for a while. I bought these my last shopping trip before the pandemic at the liquidation store. It is new with tags. Some of them sold super fast, some of them didn't, but ultimately she sold for $50. So really happy to have made that sale. Overall, a really great sales weekend. And if you're looking into a way to really elevate your Poshmark store, stay tuned for that Posher VA video. But coming up again this week, we'll have another source-free September video where I'm going to be going through my kitchen. I have a lot of kitschy mid-century stuff, hard goods. So if you are a women's fashion reseller and you're interested in getting into the hard good game, then stay tuned. You can see some of the items that I am listing to resell. If you haven't seen my other haul where we went through my dining room where I'm sitting right now, then check that out and see all the items that I picked up to resell for my own home. It's also good, I mentioned in that video that if you're a new reseller, a really good way to source is instead of going out to thrift stores, even though we all know that's the fun part, start at home, pull some inventory, take the money you earn from items you pull from your own closet and start your business. It's easy as that, and once you have those items sell, reinvest it, and then you can start going thrifting. All right, there we go. All the sales packaged up. Thank you guys so much for shipping with me. I really appreciate it. I hope that you enjoyed this video and seeing my shipping process. You got a little bit out of our chit chat today, and now you know why I'm not on WhatNot and how Source Free September is going for me. And you got to see some items that sold. So hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. Stay tuned for my next video. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.